So welcome. My name is Kathleen, and I thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel as I share about our January full moon in Cancer. This is occurring at 6:48 Eastern Standard Time at 27 degrees. And this is out of New York, again, Eastern Standard Time. So all of the positions, I do talk about the houses and some of the planets are important to note that they are being tracked from New York. So this full moon in Cancer is a very, very personal full moon. And it is about your own personal power and doing some major releasing that needs to be done before we can go forward into the new year. Now, this is the fourth of 7 full moons in a row that have been at the 27 degree of their sign. So this 27 degree is being greatly highlighted from the last full moons occurring, last year to already going into this new year. So we want to definitely talk about that 27 degree throughout as we continue to learn more about this full moon. So this full moon is a time of great release, and we need to talk a little bit about what is working and what is no longer working, and how one needs to look at balancing their own personal power. This moon is a very personal moon in that it deals with the mother archetype. Cancer rules the 4th house of the zodiac with the moon. So when the moon is in Cancer, we have a deeply, deeply feeling moon. It's already a feeling moon being attached to Cancer, but when we put it in its sign, then it is intensified. And you'll find this theme throughout this full moon of just things that are different and intensified and unusual. So this is also about setting your sacred boundaries and really looking at what is no longer working. And we're going to talk about why the chart shows that. So the moon is opposing the sun and Pluto. So it's activating these energies within the chart. And whenever we have a planet opposite Pluto, we have themes of power. And Pluto has been in Capricorn for quite some time. As you can see, it is at 27 degrees, and it is soon, 26 degrees, and it is soon going to have an event occur in the United States chart, which we'll talk about in a minute, that is very poignant. The planet Pluto is Scorpio's sign ruler, and it takes 248 years for Pluto to go around the zodiac. So when we're dealing with Pluto, we're dealing with very long transits that are trying to teach us something at the very deep soul level. Pluto is soul psyche and deep, deep transformation and issues of power. So the theme is about power very strongly, as well as external authorities versus inner authorities. So there's this looking at what are the others. What are the others? What are the Capricornian figures, external authorities in our lives? How much weight are we giving them, and how much say are we giving them, and how much time of our resources are we giving them? And so we see an inner authority and an autonomy wanting to rise up with us, and to look at this within our own lives, because with Pluto conjunct Sun, it's utterly blowing things up, and it is destroying, tearing down, revealing, exposing these secrets. Pluto rules the 8th house of the underworld. Again, Scorpio's planet, dealing with renewal and death and transformation, the shadow self, the unconscious, again, that which is hidden, and secrets and power and control. So the moon is very gentle and very soft. And with it opposite here, this can be extremely overwhelming for that moon. Cancer is the most sensitive sign of the zodiac. She is loving, gentle, caring, nurturing, and instinctively knows what others need. So with Cancer looking at this Sun conjunct Pluto, and Venus again dancing around there at 13 degrees, now separated, we wouldn't consider that a conjunction, but it's nearby. It's kind of stepped away from the picture in retrograde here after going back and forth with Pluto. And it has said, okay, I'm going to distance myself here, almost as if the moon, like the moon, that has distanced itself from Pluto. It is all the way in a whole nother part, opposite of this chart. It couldn't be any more further away. And it's saying, I'm just really needing, again, to be over here and have some autonomy from all of this and work through all of this in my intuitive way. And again, when the moon is in Cancer, it's on steroids as far as the ability to be intuitive about what is best. It's calling us to rise, to mother ourselves, to mother ourselves. Motherhood is home, safety, security, and children. This is cardinal water in Cancer. It's a very outward moving sign. So children mean a great deal to Cancers. It could be, collectively, you could say, this is a call and a rise to protect the children, get the children safe, get the children in places of wellness, get the children in places of nurturing, full moon Cancer. And with it opposite, there is an activation that will occur with these energies. And the main issue, again, will be of power and control. This could be custody battles. This could be disputes with children. Anything to do with the mother and the home and the psyche. Now, I want to bring into your focus here the planet pattern. And as you can see, we've got everything more on the right-hand side of the chart, which would speak of wanting to connect with the other. When it's on the left-hand side, this speaks more of a pattern of independence. And so we've got the moon all by itself sitting there in the 12th house of Pisces. And Neptune rules Pisces. And Neptune is the higher octave of the moon. They work in tandem. And as you can see, we have Neptune in Pisces in its own sign. So that is good news, giving extra power to the moon. However, it isn't in the most harmonious aspect with Neptune. It's not really communicating too well. Almost opposite like Pluto, not quite, but it's not a square. It's not a trine. It's not a sextile. It's not an opposite. It could be what you would call an inconjunct, so to speak. But it's over there, and it is in Pisces, which is the good news, like I said, because then it can operate in its highest sense. And it's been in there a while. And where is it? Interestingly enough, it's in the 8th house, this Neptune. And Pluto, which we're just talking about, rules the 8th house. So you've got the moon and you've got Neptune working for you here, asking you tap into the mother nature, tap into the intuitive nature, tap into fourth house themes, and make sure that you understand that your autonomy here and your voice matters. Like I said, it's over there all by itself, speaking that it needs to regroup, needs to pull away a little bit, and needs to find its own voice. Now, Venus is in cardinal Earth Capricorn, and it's still in retrograde until the 29th of this month. And Venus has had so much activity back and forth as she's danced literally with conjuncting Pluto and Capricorn. So we've had these themes of relationships blowing up and being transformed on a very personal level, and as we just had with dignitaries. Prince William, I believe, just got caught in a scandal. And so, or was it Prince Andrew? Yeah, it was Prince Andrew. I apologize, not Prince William. It's just only going to be more and more of this as the clock ticks, and more exposures are coming in. And this is what this is about. It's Pluto saying, look, we need to change the way we do love. We need to change the way we do beauty. We need to change the way we do relationships. And we are going to be almost done with Pluto here. By 2024, we will completely have cleared these energies of Capricorn and head into Aquarius. So that is really going to be exciting. But her aspects have been, giving us major clues and themes in the way of our relating and speaking and communicating and the love of self and others. You've got Taurus ruling 2nd house. We've had many themes there with possessions ruling with Venus, and then you have Libra in the 7th house of others ruling. So we've got these themes. If you go back, look at these moons and study them, you'll see relationships have been key. While we're adjusting to these drastic outer changes we're experiencing. We also have Mercury, the messenger and intelligent communicator, that has moved into Aquarius. Now, Mercury does really well in Aquarius here. It's intellectual and intelligence. Mercury stands for this, so it works really well with fixed air, intelligent, revolutionary rebel Aquarius, and is quite content to speak of what can be, what should be. Think of Elon Musk here, just pointing to the future, saying this is where we need to go. This is the ability, with it being in Mercury, very able to move forward and have this, like I said, futuristic way of thinking. Now, Mercury went retrograde January 14th, so this is today, the date of this recording. Not the best time to do a podcast, but we'll hope for the best. I had it pretty much done prior, so you don't want to start projects when Mercury goes into retrograde. It's not the best time. Any contracts that you have, anything you're signing, any form of communication, double, triple check. Make sure you look at things really, really closely. In retrograde, Mercury stalls out as if to stop and reflect, right? And it's seeking a deeper understanding here, a clearer picture being in Aquarius. Like, I'm seeing through this Aquarian lens, and I need to know the larger picture. And it's asking ourselves over and over and over, what is the truth in this situation? What is the truth? We need to speak the truth. We need to speak of future truths. We need to speak of momentum moving forward. And we need to heal. We need to heal. Now, Mars is in Sagittarius at 20 degrees. And with Mars in Sagittarius, the fiery Mars, which gives us our energy and our passion, in Sag, wow, we're motivated here to really broaden our intellectual and geographical horizons. And it could be opportunities for some of you, depending on aspects here, to travel and have things open up for you. It's an ability to have an optimistic attitude towards life. And you have this enthusiasm. Sages are enthusiastic, fire, mutable, ninth house signs. They like adventures. And you're going to have, with Jupiter being Sagittarius's planet, you are going to have this larger picture to everything here with your energy. You're going to be able to move about in bigger ways and have this desire to live a really full and active life. So dealing with issues of health here as well in some of you. And with that mutable fire sign and Gemini, the great benefic working with you, I want to tell you that the power to expand a viewpoint is absolutely huge at this point. I do want to bring in a word of caution, though, when we're dealing with Jupiter, wherever you see Jupiter. Yes, it is a great benefic, and it is just brings luck and brings fortune and brings prosperity and just blesses the area it's at. But sometimes, because it is the largest planet, it can be too wide, too girthy, and there can be too much expansion to the point where if Mars is not channeled, using our current Saturn and Mercury, both in Aquarius, we can be inclined to scatter our energies. And it can lessen our ability to reach our personal goals. It is conjunct the galactic center. And we know the galactic center is an activating energy point. When we have planets conjunct the galactic center, it makes it easier to download higher consciousness information. And on the 20th, it will move exact. So just a few days after this full moon, we're going to have an exact Mars on the galactic circle. This is Mars saying, look, have a personal drive to continue on your way and press forward and know that you can't quit now. It's going to be a real energetic day for most of us, an energetic few weeks while Mars is sitting here in Sagittarius. So Jupiter also, another big event, went into Pisces. This is lovely. Jupiter is assigned to Sagittarius, but also to Pisces. In esoteric astrology, which is the older, more star-based Indian type of astrology, not Western, more astrology that's based on the deeper questions of, what's your soul journey and how can you best serve humanity with your gifts versus, when will I get married, or not that those aren't important, but Western astrology deals more with the personal level and the psyche, which is important. I mean, we can't go forward until we know ourselves. So I highly suggest learning both and seeing which one grabs you, seeing which one calls to you, and then going with that one and sticking with it. But that Western astrology is going to appeal more to the ego-centered and person-based. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. But we really have to go at some point into the deeper parts of our chart and ask, like, what am I here for? And what am I supposed to do while I'm here? Like, I know what I like, and what about my karma and what I brought in, and why do I like that so much? Who was I before I came here? And what's my mission now? And where am I at in that mission? These are the deeper questions that I like to go into when I do charts. And I think that that's kind of what's going on here with the vibe and the feel of this Jupiter in Pisces here. So with it being associated with Sagittarius in the 9th house, and with Jupiter Pisces being associated with the 12th house, because remember it's representing both Sag and Pisces, we've got this esoteric layer that I think is going to help us see the older form of astrology. Jupiter does really well in Pisces, and it gives us this compassionate and benevolent nature. And it helps us to have the good intentions that Mars is spurring us on to have. And we're motivated here by altruistic and idealistic inclinations, and we're learning how to give unconditionally. We have a deeper and widening interest as well with Jupiter in Pisces in metaphysical subjects. So a caution here with this great benefit here, we can get lost in forms of escapism, intoxicants, stimulants, overindulgence. Our recreation can be questionable. There can be addictive tendencies because these energies are so abundant. We really need to be careful to use them in the right way. So I just caution with that to just be careful. You can never have too much of a good thing, right? But if you have too much of a good thing and it's not in balance, that can really harm you. So again, Jupiter is asking you to deal with your boundaries. Say, is your boundaries too large? Have you just opened yourself up too much? And you see Jupiter is also sextiling Uranus. I want to talk about this a minute, Uranus. So the great benefit of luck and good fortune is working with the fixed air Aquarian rebel of Uranus. So this is quite the combination. Uranus isn't in Aquarius, though. Uranus, who represents Aquarius, has been in Taurus, and we have had this conversation over and over about what that's doing there. And, we really need to know that our faith is quite pronounced and strong with this sextile. It's like the faith of Jupiter is, working with Uranus, and it's like, yes, I will go out. I will move forward. I will trust in my abilities. And no matter what's happening in my life, I'm the rebel. I'm the revolutionary. I know that it's pointing me towards my future. And it's just like this stalwart faith that one has with this sextile. And it also opens up opportunities. And there is a super, super keen intuition here. With it being conjunct the mid-heaven, it's very, very important. Uranus struggles a little bit in Taurus because it's a moving sign, and it wants change, and it wants, planet, and it wants action. But Taurus is fixed. So we could see some radical expressions in love as well. Some really opportunities coming in love and in an understanding in a deep, deep, deep way, so that there can be transformation. All right, the nodes. Let's talk about this quick. The nodes have switched signs. This is paramount, and now in retrograde there, but they just switched and into Taurus, North Node, and Scorpio, South Node, thus changing our collective future and destiny. So these nodes will last there for 18 months until, what do I got here? July 2023, at which point they will then move into the next cycle. So for 18 months, we're going to be sitting in these nodes. So this is Taurus fixed earth energies. Again, sound familiar? It should. We talk about this a lot in all these moons. It represents the second house of resources, our relationship with our resources and possessions. Remember, Venus rules Taurus as well as Libra. So the second house is a very sensual house. It's the things we hold, the things we love. The second house represents currency, banking, wealth, economy, food supplies. Therefore, supply chains. Are we seeing great change there with the supply chains? We should see some type of communication going forward with that as we get into this energy. All kinds of nature, earth matters pertaining to issues of security and bringing things down to a very simple, practical manner. Taurus loves to be practical. Doesn't like a lot of drama, okay? Now, the south node, of course, then, would be in the opposite sign, which is Scorpio. And this is fixed water, and it represents the 8th house, where Mars and Pluto are the sign rulers. So what are we moving away from? Scorpio south node, the 8th house themes, the Plutonian themes that have been coming, the Venus conjunct Pluto, the full moon with the sun conjunct Pluto, all these things with the 8th house. And all three of the planets have been highly active. And that would be the nodes, and that would be Mars, and that would be Pluto, and that would be Venus. So I should actually say 4 of the planets. And Scorpio is tenacious and has great staying power and the ability to stay focused and fixed on issues. It is fixed water, especially issues of death, transformation, regeneration, change, and aggressive soul work. The 8th house is investments and debt and defaults and taxes and other people's monies. And systems are breaking down and slowly being dissolved here. Financial secrets, toxins and poisons. Scorpion's tail can sting. This is taboo sex, and where secrets and scandals can lay, especially pertaining to money and sex. The 8th house is the occult and all things esoteric, paranormal, UFOs, ghosts, psychic energies. This is where we see tarot, astrology. This is psychology, sociology. And Scorpio seeks to understand people at the very depths of their soul. So if the south node is there, it's asking us, come away from the other in regards to the psyche and work on yourself. And this moon is backing this up, you see. It's all the way over there on the left-hand side in a house that is hidden, far away from everything else. So, it's releasing relationship patterns that are no longer healthy, and that which did not serve you or nurture you or partner with you or support you, and taking a stand now and knowing that you can choose yourself, Cancer. Cancer moon is saying, the mother is saying, get well, get healthy, choose yourself. Choose your own personal peace. It is time. It is time. Now, I want to mention here also a very significant event occurring within the United States of America chart this February. Pluto will be having her USA return after 248 years to the 1776 natal Pluto. So after all those years around the zodiac, she's finally returning home. This is monumental and very significant. As you can imagine, you will never see Pluto go around your chart once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Pluto takes a very, unless you live super long. So it's really important to understand what that's going to mean. And it is significant because it's occurring in the second house where Pluto sits. So wherever Pluto is, it's important to look at, as she will represent like we said, the deeper soul and psyche transformations. So the shadow areas of our lives that get exposed so we can grow, and the profound personal changes we make due to that experience. So the degree of Pluto within the United States chart is, get this, you're not going to believe this, it's 27 degrees. All these 27 degree points are quite interesting. I apologize. It is in the 3rd house of the United States, not the 2nd. Pluto is conjunct the South Node. So Pluto will be returning and will coming home, and it will then go back out and go back in, and then it's going to take until 2024 to finally pass all the way through. So with that backdrop of what's going on here, I want us to take a look now at this Cancer full moon real quick. So just to give us a review here, Sun opposite Moon, no communication is going on here. They are very far from each other. The Moon has a desire here for deep inner harmony, and the Sun is the ego, the self. Moon is our emotional and mind state. And with this placement, we can often feel discontented and tense. So this is why the full moons are the way they are. You know, you hear about moon madness and all this. This is where this comes in. You can have a drive here for recognition and wanting, just to be like, I just need you to hear me, with it opposite the moon. And relationships can get really strained, and especially with the opposite sex. You've got Sun, masculine, Moon, feminine. And there can be a lot of discord with parents and children at this time. So the Sun is the father, and the mother is the Moon. So I already brought up the fact that she's over there all by herself, and perhaps, due to her being all alone over there, it could be showing us the need to nurture the self and release what is harming us and keeping us from abundance. And with that high intuition you can take available, with it being in Cancer, there's going to be some illumination for you on what you need to release that's not serving you. And with that Sun conjunct Pluto and Capricorn, 2 hard signs, 2 earth signs, 2 cardinal earth signs, and you've got the water in Capricorn, and you've got the fire in Capricorn. So this is going to be an intense and dynamic personality here. This could be someone you encounter, an individual or yourself. You're just contending with issues of power. It's going to be a strong desire, this conjunction, to achieve personal goals. And it can help us tap into a wealth of creative power and energy, because you're transforming and you're open and you're mutating. So it allows the new to come in. And it's going to be an ability to attain authoritative and leadership positions if you use this energy right. But remember, with power comes responsibility, so be very careful with these energies. You can overestimate yourself here, and you can be inciting here and, deliberately blowing things up. Remember, Venus has moved away now and not really communicating too well with Pluto. In a different house, same sign, but a different house. Pluto opposite the Moon. Let's talk about this a minute. Boy, that is some complex emotions right there. Feelings can be way more intense. I mean, they're already intense with the full moon. They're already intense because they're in Cancer. And now you've got Pluto directly opposite, in a tight conjunction, in a tight opposition. So personality relationships are going to be tested, strained. And this is especially with family members and significant females. Power struggles with dominant women. And you can be domineering, like I said. With it opposite, though, you're dealing with the emotions all over the place if you don't harness and rein that in. So be careful. This could be jealousy and fixations and compulsions and just flat out manipulation of people. So we've got some really powerful energies at work here this full moon. The last thing I want to bring up to you is Eris trine Leo. And Eris is up there in the 9th house, and she is trining that Leo ascendant. And what's interesting is Leo's planet is the sun, and the sun is conjunct Pluto. And Pluto is, like we talked about, the transformer. And Eris is the brother of Mars. She is an asteroid that is the higher octave of her brother. They're both warriors, but where Mars will fight a more mundane enemy, Eris works to free us through esoteric confrontations. She creates situations at the unconscious level where we have to stop being fooled or stop fooling ourselves. This is powerful energy here. Working with Leo, you've got a fiery Eris who's fueled up for truth, much like Uranus, working with fiery Leo. And Leo's sun is conjunct Pluto. Guys, this is an opportunity to really make some deep transformational changes that perhaps you have been thinking about and you have been wanting to do and you've known you're supposed to do them. I want to encourage you, have a ceremony alone or with one significant other, but a small group of people if you have it, where you're sitting and you're really taking time to get in on yourself and receiving this intuitive energy that's coming in, and just vow to release one thing and to work on one thing to bring more self-care and more nurturing to the self and to the home. So with that, I thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Appreciate all of the support and the sharing and the liking. And until our next new moon, I will see you. Thank you. Namaste.